Hi guys, how are you?
Hi,
Very
you have
good.
Olaf behind you.
Oh, I had to. It is an absolute honour speaking with you both. But I'll get
Oh,
I'll get
thank
right into
you.
things. What was it like transitioning from stage to screen with Up Here? How fun of an experience has it been?
Oh, it was a thrill, because we obviously love musical theater, but we also really love the streaming genre, especially like the half-hour comedy streaming series. And to be able to, it had always been on our bucket list to do this, but then when you get to do it with someone as talented as Tommy Kail, Stephen Levinson, and Danielle Sanchez Witzel, who are all experts in both musical theater and TV themselves, it was just so exciting and a great adventure.
Yeah, and we were game. We were really actually very happy to throw out most of what we had done for the stage on up here and really start over with such incredible collaborators because honestly, we wanted it to be, essentially a streaming series musical and not not feel like something adapted. So every episode is its own little musical. This is something that we all kind of figured out as we went along. That every episode had to feel like a musical that had a beginning, middle, and an end. Where the main moments were in song, and then the whole arc of the entire season, 8 episodes, would feel like kind of a larger musical. And I think it worked in that when you listen to the soundtrack, it's sort of the same size as a Broadway soundtrack, of a Broadway cast album, and it feels like you're hearing one story.
Obviously, speaking about the soundtrack, you've got so many different styles of music. What was that like finding the inspiration for so many genres of music? And was there one in particular that you really wanted to sort of have in the show? I guess.
You
Well,
mean? Go ahead.
I would say that one of the things that inspired this score is that we had our own courtship and met each other in fall of 99, right before Y2K. And the music we were listening to during that time, we were both obsessed with the Magnolia soundtrack and obsessed with the singer-songwriters of the 90s. Also, both obsessed with musical theater and Sondheim and William Finn. So we were kind of pulling in our own things that we loved at that time, and that's why underneath it all, there's a little bit of like an indie band, uh, kind of connecting it all. We never use like a huge orchestra ever. This is all something that could be done in a small studio. Bobby, you want to take it from there?
Well, we and Justin Ward Weber, Tom Kitt, the orchestrator, and Scott Reset had a blast. We basically got together this amazing band, which is the core sound of every single song. And sometimes we add strings or brass here and there throughout the soundtrack, but mostly it is this band. And that
Or an 8-bit mini opera.
that's right. Yes, we did one song that was completely voiced in 8-bit Nintendo sounds basically, and that was a lot of fun too. Basically, we were trying the theme for all this music is our feelings, our some mostly unexpressed gigantic feelings that we need to deal with somehow as people. And most of us, especially guys, tend to just sort of ignore them or push them aside or deny them. But it's really the theme of the show in that these two characters who belong together need to get around these feelings, figure out how to deal with them directly in order to be able to be together.
And just finally, one last question. I asked Thomas before if there was one person you've collaborated with that you could see as one of your inner voices. Do you know who that would be?
Oh,
Um,
this is such a good question. Um, I would say Patty Lupone. There's something that Patty represents that's like an irrepressible female spirit that lives inside of my brain who's like, there's a
Zoom censored you, honey.
Oh, it did? Zoom was like, don't sing that loud and that high.
For me, anyone we've collaborated with, I would say Tommy Kail. he's such a genius communicator. He's able to distill exactly what you're thinking and what he's trying to say in sometimes one, sometimes two, sometimes three words, and he's lightning fast, and so I really admire that, and I really admire the scope of his vision.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, guys. It was an absolute honor. Congratulations on the show again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.